Hey everybody, I want to introduce you to our latest sponsor, Salt Electrolytes. Feeling depleted after a tough grappling session? Well, Salt targets your depleted electrolyte levels with a boost of hydration and health. It gives your body the baseline recovery it needs. Salt contains 6 different electrolytes with a touch of iodine to help maintain a healthy thyroid. No sugar, no dyes, no bullshit. Go earn your salt. Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of the BJJ Foxcast. The studio is under repair, so we had to makeshift a few things. We're changing the look a little bit. I'm here with my co-host, Alex Tojo Cray. Welcome to the show, brother.
Oh, I'm ready to talk some shit because one of your fucking neighbors in their big-ass stupid truck, and he was on his phone, almost killed me in my mini truck.
Oh, the mini truck almost got fucked up.
Yeah. The mini truck that was probably lighter than the guy's motor.
Hey, give me some. Which neighbor?
I don't know. He was driving a big, it looked like an F-350.
Oh, that. He's cool. He's my
cool.
He's my dentist neighbor. He's all right.
Oh, dentist?
Yeah.
So he's gonna kill himself. So it's all right.
Yeah, I mean, eventually they do, right? I mean, dentists. Is there like a high mortality rate for dentists?
You know, I remember hearing it in a movie a long time, like in the 90s when I was a kid.
Oh, it was in a movie, so it must be true.
It must be true.
Yeah.
Maybe it was true in the 90s. It's less true now.
I don't know.
I don't even know if it was ever true.
Yeah. So I don't know if you guys noticed, but the table's not in here. We chopped it up a little bit. This is going away. I don't like it. Got to redo the mics. I don't like the stand. We're going to change a lot of shit in here, dude.
You want to do an end grain side tables?
We could. I don't know what that means, but it sounds cool.
So this is long grain or edge grain.
Yeah.
Right? So it's like the side of the wood. Edge grain is like this part right here. It's good for cutting boards.
And just chop the shit out of the fucking table?
No. Well, I mean, actually, yeah, I could make it out of these. You just cut it in strips, flip them, and glue them back together.
That sounds stupid. We already have a fucking table.
Yeah, but then we can cut it, and it's, what's that word? Bespoke?
Who?
Who?
What does that mean?
Did you swear at me?
What'd you say, you bastard? No, what?
You son of a bitch.
What did you say? Bespoke?
Yeah. It's
I don't know what that means.
Basically like custom made kind of thing.
Oh. That's very fancy.
Mm-hmm.
I like fancy. I like fancy. Like,
like the IKEA chairs that are coming?
Yeah, but I don't wear fancy very well.
Me either.
I'll give you an example.
I'm wearing fucking sweatpants.
Yeah, I used to do work for like a private jet kind of hangar place. I did a couple, but one of them in particular, I told the guy, I was like, hey, at the risk of, sounding, unprofessional, can I look? It's a beautiful fucking plane, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's like, yeah, go ahead and jump in there. Dude, it's like a beautiful living room.
Do they lock them up at night?
Oh, yeah, I'm sure they do.
The hangar,
the hangar's closed. I mean, they bring the planes in there. I think they had 3 or 4 planes per hangar, different sizes.
Did I ever tell you about the guy that when I was a kid, 9 or 10, one of our neighbors, one of my friends, neighborhood friends or whatever, his dad built stunt planes.
Oh, cool. Oh, neat.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the freaking ones that are doing.
Yep.
Yeah.
He built those, and he took us to me, my brother, my friend, and then I think one other kid was with us, and took us to the hangar where they were in the process of building one.
Yeah,
it's really cool. They were doing all the custom fiberglass work and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
so that was the coolest thing in the world. But then he eventually took us. I think we flew to Payson because we definitely went out of Scottsdale, north, and then for the day, and then came back.
Yeah,
and I got to fly the plane. Wow,
that's cool.
Yeah, it was fun.
Isn't it kind of eerie when you're in control of the plane? You're not really doing a whole lot.
I remember being nervous. Yeah, but you don't. You're in the air.
Yeah, but I think it's because you don't know what the plane can do.
Yeah.
Or what it can't do.
Yeah.
I remember I was flying my buddy Rocco in Pennsylvania.
To be clear, the one that I flew was not a stunt plane. The stunt planes are very, very specialized type of plane.
Yeah. My buddy had a 4-seater, single engine plane.
Yeah.
And at the time, we were still flying with his instructors. He was still getting his hours. I mean, he had a license, but he was going for a more advanced thing, whatever.
Yeah.
But we went out in the summer. And I say that specifically because the planes fly differently in the summer. Because we went out in the winter and it was a smooth, you know what I mean?
Right.
But in the summer, you hit those pockets of air that are lifting. Sure. And then all of a sudden, you're just moving up 2 feet. You're like, holy shit, dude. Scares the shit out of you. I couldn't.
So the air's more volatile in the summer?
I guess. I mean, you hit certain things. I remember just hitting these pockets. And then it felt sometimes I guess it might have been windy, I don't remember, but it felt like the plane was almost fighting its way through the air. It was almost like pushing and then being pushed. It's almost like crawling its way through the air. It's wild, dude. Yeah. So then he would be when he got his, when it was just he and I, he'd be like, oh yeah, go ahead and take control. And I'm like, I don't like this. Like, because I don't know what I'm,
I would fucking love to do that now.
Yeah.
I'd be like, your funeral. Our funeral.
Yeah. Our funeral. But what I find, like, when you're flying that way, when you're flying a commercial airline, obviously you got that little one window that you look out and you're like, oh, I recognize the street or whatever.
Sure.
But when you fly freely that way in a small plane, you're not very high, or you're not trying to climb right away and get the fuck out of there, right? You're just kind of tooling around.
Yeah. You
realize how small the area that you live in really is.
You can like fly across Phoenix in like 10 minutes.
Yeah, less than that. I mean, you're just, it's just...
And none of those assholes are in your way?
None of the assholes are in the way. Dude.
Snowbirds are gone because they can't fly.
All the olds.
We call them birds, but they can't fly.
They can't fly.
Yeah.
They can't fly. Man, when I first moved here, like I lived in an area where there were snowbirds. I lived in Brownsville, Texas, and there was a lot of people that would go.
Hey, guess what? You still do.
I didn't for a long time. I lived in Virginia Beach and, shit like that.
Do they call them summer birds there?
Nah, I don't know. But, dude, coming back to it, it's a challenge.
Yeah.
It's a little bit of a challenge.
Is really annoying.
Yeah. Because I mean, when you get on the highway, people are either doing 80 or 40, and I'll give you 3 choices as to who's doing 40, right? So yeah, that was my
people, the Asians.
Well, if they're driving your mini truck, they're doing 40, unless they're going downhill or falling off a cliff.
It can get to 60 pretty well.
Yeah, if it falls off a goddamn cliff.
Yeah, downhill. Downhill goes 60 pretty well.
Hey, tell me about that. Tell me about that truck, dude. Like, why?
So Kelsey just saw like a video on Instagram or something, like a reel of some guy who was like just driving his mini truck, and she's like, "Look how cute this is!" And I looked at it and I was like, "Okay, it's a Japanese like truck, like a tiny truck, like it's super tiny." And I'm like, "I bet they're cheap." So I like looked into it, and like it was like kind of like he said he like imported it. So I'm like, obviously you can import it, and I knew like people import like like Skylines and stuff all the time, right?
Yeah.
I knew there's a market there, but I didn't realize how actually easy it is to do.
Yeah.
So I like looked into it, and there's a couple of they're called just exporters, right, from Japan. There's like basically websites you can go to where they have a whole list of vehicles, and it gets updated as like people buy and add vehicles to the list or whatever. So you're like be on it, and you're like, all right, I don't see anything I like. You can check back the next week, and there's more stuff.
Wow.
And
okay.
It's just like an auto trader, but you don't have to like go take a look at it. So you are buying them all pretty much sight unseen, right?
Yeah.
But most of them have like tons of pictures. There's usually like a video where they like have the motor running. A lot of times they'll like show them driving and put them in reverse just to show you that like it goes.
You're not buying a piece of shit. Yeah.
I mean, they're all kind of pieces of shit.
Yeah.
But it's kind of the appeal. It's like you're buying like this junky car. But the fun part about it is like you are buying this like little truck. It's a work truck. They use them for like a lot of times they're using them in like the agriculture areas in Japan. But like the roads are so small there, so like it behooves you to have a tiny little truck.
Yeah.
But the bed's full size. It's a 6-foot bed. Like it's over 6-foot bed.
Wow.
And it's like 4.5 feet wide. Like so you can fit a lot of whatever they have. Like hay or whatever, it is. You can fit a bunch of stuff in the back.
Yeah.
But they cost like, since they're used like that and they're all like 25, 30 years old, like 35 years old, they're like super cheap and they're like basically just giving them away. So like, they're like, mine was like $1,700.
That's plus shipping though, right?
Plus shipping. Yeah. So that's the deal. I mean, like there's always going to be the plus shipping, and for most like vehicles, so there's multiple ways that you can ship vehicles, right? I'm sure you're semi aware of that.
Yeah.
There's typically what you want when you're like importing your own car is they call it roll on, roll off.
Okay.
So it means it has to be able to drive onto the boat and then they can drive it off the boat into the
I see. Okay, so they're
area.
not going to tow your shit onto a boat.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right,
I think there's a liability aspect to that.
I'm sure there is. Yeah.
And then there's also where you can buy a container, or I'm sure you can rent them, but because it wasn't, most people who get the mini trucks don't do this part unless they're doing like, they want 5 mini trucks or something, which there are a lot of people that do that. But you can like buy a container and then you just fill the container with mini trucks, and then they just, just exactly how they, transfer containers like on a container ship, and then they do it that way. So the roll on, roll off is pretty cheap. It's for like just about any car. It's going to be like, somewhere between $2,000 and $3,000.
Wow.
So, and that's the shipping part. So you're talking, out the door after like taxes and all the customs duties and, you know, grease and all the palms that you have to grease to get something imported in the United States, it's like right around $5,000.
What do you think you could flip those for?
So we actually were looking at that too. Like what's the cost of what are these things going for? Which is kind of like one of the big selling points for me is like, well, if I decide if I get bored of it in like, you know, a year or two, I can just sell it. They sell anywhere depending on condition, because the condition is like really what determines like, I mean, that's all vehicles,
of course,
right?
Yeah.
But generally, like, it's anywhere between 7 and 10, 11, 12,000.
Okay. Man, we should flip cars, dude.
Well, you have to put a ton of work into it. I mean, I guess, yeah, if you buy them for $5,000 and then you just sell it immediately for, you know, 7.
Right.
Well, the reality is the ones that come from what I've seen, like being on like Facebook Marketplace and being on, you know, all the forums and stuff like that. If you have like a fresh off the boat mini truck, with still has all of its like dents and scrapes and rust and all that shit. That's the other thing. Everything in fucking Japan rusts. It's an island.
Yeah.
Right. So everything's rusted there, especially when you're talking about a 30-year-old vehicle.
Yep.
Right. So you have to deal with that with a lot of them. Like a lot of their suspensions are just completely shot. You have to replace a bunch of shit.
Yeah.
So it's like not real. Like if you buy it right off the boat and then you try to sell it, you're probably not going to make any money off of it.
Yeah. You're probably looking at like, after everything's said and done, probably like you're looking at 9-10 grand and you can get 11 or 12. So it's not worth it.
You really need to like do all of the maintenance, which is not hard really, because it's pretty much just like a little motorcycle motor.
Yeah.
Like I'd replaced like the steering bushings in the front. I replaced the rims and tires, did the timing belt, water pump, you know, all of like that kind of like general maintenance, like, you know, replaced all the fluids and all that shit, which was, it's a fucking nightmare to get the air out of the cooling system in those things.
Oh,
just
really?
So you know, and it's like a thing. Like you go on the online forums and like, I can't get all the air out and it keeps overheating.
Airbound. Yeah.
Yeah. They're just built like shit for that, for that kind of maintenance.
Yeah.
You have to like, you literally have to prop the front of the car up like a couple feet. It's a nightmare. And then, and then there's like two bleeder valves to get the air out on top of the motor. And then there's a couple that are like, run from like the front end of the car to the back, because there's a radiator in the front, like a typical car. Motor sits in the back underneath the bed, but there's also like the heater core, which sits just in front of the motor underneath the car. So it's like there's a lot of similarities to like a regular front engine car, but then there's a lot of these weird intricacies that make some maintenance a pain in the ass.
Yeah, I'm sure.
So
yeah.
But then I did like all the body work and then painted.
Interior looks good. That's really the only thing I've looked at.
Yeah, I ripped out all the interior, including the dash. Like basically cleaned the shit out of it, and then they have the specialty like paint that's like meant for plastics.
Yeah,
and it works pretty well. I mean, like if you like scratch your key on it, it's gonna rip the paint off. But it's pretty durable as for regular use.
Yeah.
So,
No,
pretty happy with
it's
that.
Not like you're going to do like road trips on it. You know what I mean? So
right.
It's not a big deal.
I mean, I drive that thing more than I drive my Tacoma.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So I want to talk about, I want to kind of recap 24 and talk about like strategies for competition going into 25. Because I got some ideas.
You don't want to talk about the mini truck for the whole time?
We can talk for the mini truck. I feel will come up no matter what.
Do you think Dee will be upset if we do?
I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. As a matter of fact, sometimes I like to change the subject to hunting or mini trucks just to piss Dee off.
Tomorrow's hunting season for me.
It is. Day one.
I just packed my pack before I came over here.
Day one. Are you leaving first thing in the morning?
Yeah. I have my alarm set for 4:30.
Eek. Mm-hmm. You still coming to the New Year's Eve thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't need to sleep.
Okay, that's good. Are you not driving? You're riding with somebody?
No, I'm gonna drive.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Jamie's actually gonna meet me up there. He's like, I want to see what you do for archery hunt. I'm like, yeah, absolutely. I've been on tons of hunts with him. So
nice.
He's like, yeah, I'll bring you. I told you how I'll have people like that I don't even talk to.
Yeah.
Like reach out to me. Hey, can I come on a hunt with you? And I'm like, no.
No.
Like I don't want to be rude, but like no.
Yeah. It's too much work. It's too much like. I mean, you put in so much work like ahead of time for somebody to go out there and just fuck it up.
Yeah, I just don't really want to like manage somebody else's like time.
Yeah,
like that.
Yeah.
Also, it's just like I want to go do my thing. Like me explaining it to you just kind of takes me out of it a little bit. Like, so it's easy with Jamie because he's he hunts. He's a hunter,
Yeah.
so it's not like hunting isn't new to him.
Right.
You know? It's just like
that area.
Yeah. Well, the area, and then like how you do archery hunting versus rifle hunting. So.
Oh, he doesn't archery hunt at all.
He bought his first bow like 2 months ago or 3
What do
months
you get?
ago.
What do you get?
He got the Hoyt Alpha X.
Oh,
Yeah, that's the new. Well, not the newest. There's a newer one, but he bought the last year's flagship aluminum bow from Hoyt.
nice. So they got away from the RX series.
No, the RX are the carbon bows.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but
okay.
they still have it. They had this year's the RX-9.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
they're pretty nice. They
Fuck yeah, they're nice.
they're trying to be a little bit more like Matthews. They kind of increase the limb angle on it, so you get more riser.
Nobody gives a fuck. Nobody gives a fuck what you're saying.
Well,
Yeah.
that's their fault. They could be better.
Yeah, man. No, but talking jiu-jitsu and tournament specifically, I think I'm gonna do. I've been doing no-gi more than I've been doing gi for the past couple months, and my body has never felt better.
You mean you like your hands?
52 years old. My hands don't hurt. My body. No, it's just what I noticed was like the days that I do gi, which are rare,
Mm-hmm.
I just wake up like completely sore. Just muscular sore. You know what I mean? Because I'm being twisted and turned and being stopped from twisting and turning, you know, like my upper body's moving, my lower body's not. The yanks on the collar. I never realized how much my neck hurt all the time. You know, and I was like, I'm getting older. You know, I got some, degenerative spine shit going on. I get it, but I don't feel that anymore.
Yeah,
like my neck feels. I can turn my neck. That's fun. I like that piece. You know,
dude, I've had a headache for like the past 3 months because of my neck.
Really? Yeah. Did you like bump it on a shot, or what did you do?
No, I don't remember what. I don't know what did it. It just like my neck has been so stiff and sore.
Yeah.
That it like kind of gives you that like constant like
I hate
tension
that shit.
headache essentially.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
I'm like, so I'm like trying to like crack my neck all the time, and it like doesn't help.
Go see a chiropractor.
Fuck that.
No?
No, I'd rather bitch about it.
Okay. Good.
Yeah.
There you go. At least, you know what? At least you're honest.
Yeah. It makes me the angry person that I am.
Yeah. I also, I've been changing a lot of things. Like, my morning routine is different. It's like basically all revolves around like recovery.
Yeah. Like shrinking your balls every morning.
Shrinking my balls every morning. So I get in the hot tub and then I jump in the pool. My pool's on the high end of good, like just under 50 degrees. Mm-hmm. So,
and you want to be really more in the 40s, right?
You know what? From what I understand, there's nothing saying like colder is better.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing saying that. I mean, some people do like 35 degrees.
Is it more about like shocking your body?
Yeah, it's just shocking the body. They call it like cold exposure. And like if you do like a cold, like a 3-minute cold shower, you get benefits from that. The same type of benefits, not as extreme.
Can your shower get that cold?
Nah.
Mine can't either.
Nah, fuck no. But in the winter, it might get a little colder, you know. But
in the summer, it just gets Luke cold.
Yeah. And it's probably one of the hardest parts of my day, like getting in that pool. It's just walking in,
And you're married.
I am. So that tells you it's not easy. It's not easy. Yeah. Well, didn't they say? I won't say it. I won't say it.
She listens sometimes.
Yeah. No, she doesn't. But still, I mean, somebody will take record that little one sentence and send it to her.
You hear what your husband said?
That rat bastard. But
you already got her sick.
Jesus. I know. But yeah, so I do that, and then I do like sauna, like 30, 40 minutes of sauna. There are times, dude, I could stay in that sauna for an hour.
Yeah.
But I don't, because I got shit I got to do. But man, it feels so good in the morning, and that's kind of how I start my day.
You did a lot of sauna before Worlds.
Yeah, I did a lot of sauna before Worlds, and I don't regret it. I just kind of, man, it was just, this time was really hard to get down on weight.
Did you start too late, or was it just tough?
It's just tough. Well, maybe I started too late because I didn't take into account I had to get 3 more pounds lighter than I do normally, and so I started about the same time. I usually start about 2 weeks out. I start eating, cut calories and get smaller.
I always give myself a month.
A month?
A minimum of a month.
Yeah. No, I'm pretty good for 2 weeks, and then I'm able to make 176 pretty easy in 2 weeks. But yeah, this time I probably should have given myself a month. It was just really tough. And then the travel, to Vegas, that didn't help.
Dude,
and
every time I get in a car, I lose like 3 pounds.
You lose 3 pounds. I gain weight.
Or like travel in general, like
I
flying
swell
and
up.
all that stuff. It's because like it's probably because I'm almost 100% sure that this is the fact, but it's because I I'm so fucking particular on like I only drink soda water, so it's like
Right,
or
right.
beer
Yeah.
or scotch.
Right,
or whiskey,
right.
Scotch. I don't drink scotch. I'm not.
Yeah.
gross.
So I think this upcoming year I'm gonna do way more no-gi than I do gi.
Mm.
And there's not a lot of opportunity, so I'm gonna have to.
I definitely want to do
find
more
them.
no-gi this year
Mhm,
because it's one of those things. It's like we don't compete at no-gi that often.
Yeah,
God, when you do it, it's fun.
it is fun.
Yeah.
No-gi Worlds was a lot
It's
of fun.
so much easier.
Dude, no-gi is so much easier.
That's what I was telling Aaron today.
It is.
I rolled
No-gi's
no-gi
super
with
easy.
him. I was like, you want to roll no-gi? He's like, uh-huh.
Yeah. No-gi's super easy.
Yeah, but he was asking me about Worlds, and I was like, honestly, like I had a lot of fun. I think this year I'm going to prepare more.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like I half-assed prepare, not like half-assed, but like it was more like it wasn't like focused completely on no-gi because I was still doing gi rounds and
Sure.
I was peppering in like open mats. I would do no-gi. I would hit like 1, maybe 2 no-gi classes a week, but it was generally still all gi that I was doing.
Yeah.
It definitely.
Well,
helps.
you don't want to make your husband mad.
It's true.
Yeah.
Which one?
Ramsey.
Oh, yes.
You got to show up.
Ramsey does not like no-gi, which he's good at it too, though. It's just funny.
He's really good.
Well,
yeah.
he's probably not good at it. It's just easy.
It's super easy, dude.
Yeah.
I don't know why people are like, oh, it's so hard. It's not.
Well, that's why it's the next thing. It's a real easy thing to get into.
Yeah.
So we should talk about Worlds, about how it's like this year in particular, there was just like this huge like influx of force reaps. Did you see this? Were you paying attention to this at all?
I was. And
even Chewy like made a video on it. Chewy,
Yeah.
who's supposed to hit us back.
I hope so,
on the
man. Hit us
podcast.
up. Hit us up. We talked to him by the podium at No-Gi Worlds. What, last day? Was it?
Yeah.
Second to last. Last day.
I think it was the last day.
Last day. So
I don't think that matters though.
no, it does not. But yeah. Anyway, yeah. So there was that, and then there was a lot of pushing and shoving, and a lot. People being
I
fucking
don't
stupid,
get
man.
it. I just don't get it. Like even Paul in Paul's division, Masters 10, like this guy like basically slapped Paul. Like
Slapped him right in the head.
yeah, and I was like, "What are you fucking doing?"
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't help. Like, all it does is like, if your goal is to try to piss off your opponent to the point where they make a mistake, sure, I could kind of see that. It's still dirty.
Yeah.
It's still like sleazy,
Yeah. And you know,
and you can get disqualified.
yeah. Remember, God, it was a lighter weight class, but it was like, remember, it was to our right, and then there's two guys like going head to head. You know what I mean? The one guy pushes the other, and the other guy's like, "Oh, he pushed me," you know, all this shit.
Yeah, fucking bitches,
Dude. Like, I get it, man. Like, you're roided up and you're fucking raging. I get it.
Do you think that's what it is,
Bro,
Do you think there's more of that like
logical?
steroidy thing?
Logical 56-year-olds don't act that way. Normal, logical 56-year-olds don't act that way.
Oh, you mean like the old guys that were hopped up on testosterone?
At a minimum,
Yeah.
they're on testosterone.
That boy was raging.
He was raging,
and he
dude.
like, ah!
Yeah. That dude's veins, you could see the veins in his eyeballs. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
that dude is like, he is like one anger episode away from a fucking heart attack
or a stroke,
or a
yeah.
stroke.
Yeah,
He's that close. So yeah, there were a lot of guys that were, I mean, just juiced up.
yeah.
And man, okay, cool. Like, I get it, but just acting a fucking fool, man.
Yeah.
Acting a fucking fool. And the forced reaps, so embarrassing. That's so
Yeah.
cringe, dude.
Could you I don't know if I've ever known someone personally who's done it.
I've seen it happen to someone I know.
Yeah,
I've seen it happen. And I wish I could say that the crowd kind of polices that shit by fucking booing them and shaming them, but they don't.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. Yeah.
like I just don't know what it is in those people that like do that because you're cheating.
You're absolutely cheating.
Or you're trying to cheat because if you get away with it, you cheated. If you don't get away with it, well, you got disqualified for doing something illegal.
I think if your hand is on that foot, you should be DQ'd.
Yeah.
Yeah. Period. I mean,
I mean, you have to grab the foot a certain way. So, like, say, like, they have the the heel on the hip, where like they should, and they're not reaping you.
right.
the only way to push the foot off the hip is to grab the toes and
Right.
bend it to the outside.
Yeah, but look where your elbow is.
Your hand is on the inside of their foot.
Yes, exactly.
If your hand goes to the outside,
Right.
no one pulls the foot off.
No
you
one pulls
push
the
the foot off.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's so obvious what they're doing. Like they're just pushing that leg, and maybe the ref was a weak ref, and didn't stand up for himself.
There was a couple where like you've seen matches like every fucking match they stop at the end and they're like they sit there and you can tell
they're on the little
talking to the guy on the camera.
Yeah.
Like how did the guy on the camera miss it?
There's got to be replay, right? I mean, he's got to be watching a replay.
That's got to be what he's doing.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
how are they missing this?
I don't know, man. I don't know. It's embarrassing, is what it is. It's shameful.
I don't like if one of my students did that,
Bro.
I would be so disappointed.
Yeah.
I don't know how I would react to them personally. I would if they won and they got away with it. I'd be like, dude, that's not cool.
Would you coach them the next round?
Yes, I would.
Yeah. Would you bring it up after, or would you bring it up in between?
I would bring
matches?
it up right after.
Right after between matches.
100%.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I want them to know that that's not okay, and
Yeah.
I'd rather them lose than win worlds like that.
Yeah. Yeah. That's. Someone made a video and they were like showing all the forced reaps, and they were like putting a clown face on the people doing it, but they were winning. They were getting to the next round.
Yeah.
That was pretty.
Someone
awful.
was talking about how gaming the rules of IBJJF, and it's like that's not gaming the rules. That's knowing the rules and breaking them.
Correct.
Because if you are caught, you are immediately disqualified.
Yeah, and you should be.
And you should be.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, man, and yeah. And then the fights breaking out. Those are always fun. Like they're fun to watch because it's so silly. Like
You're
there's
fighting over a medal, basically.
you're basically fighting over something that you paid for. No one's paying you to be there. Maybe your
Right.
sponsors. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah. But
like
it's-
was it Pat Downey?
yeah.
Like won and then got disqualified because him and the other guy got in a fight.
Yeah, but Pat Downey didn't start throwing hands until the other dude started throwing hands.
Yeah, there's a lot of he was definitely like being really shitty.
It was definitely being. The DQ was justified.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it was justified.
To be fair, like I don't care how shitty you are, I'm not gonna like start a fight.
Right. Yeah. I mean, once you start throwing hands, like you lost.
Yeah.
You lost it. The argument. You lost everything.
Because the reality is if like and for you could say what you want about the IBJJF about this, but like if you're like being a piece of shit, like not like hitting anybody, but just like oh fuck this guy, he's a pussy, or saying something. If you're talking like that to your opponent, like in a an IBJJF match, you're gonna get disqualified.
Yeah. And oh, by the way, there's like rules for coaches too.
Yeah.
And to the coach's credit, I didn't see like a single coach. I mean, they're all working the refs. Everybody works the ref, but nobody's like talking shit about a competitor. You know what I mean? It was pretty honorable.
I definitely saw a little.
Did you
bit
really?
Of that. Oh yeah. There was.
You want to say who? You want to say who?
Yeah, his name is. No, I'm just kidding. It was during Sierra's bracket.
Oh yes.
Yeah. There was the guy. Was it the final or the semifinal?
Semifinal.
I think it was the semifinal.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was that small girl that beat Sierra.
Yeah.
Well, I guess they're all small girls.
Yeah.
But there was the one that beat Sierra. She was fighting that MMA girl.
She was in the final. That was the final.
Was it the final?
Yeah, because Sierra was a semi.
Oh, you're right.
Yep.
Yep. So it would have been the final.
Yep.
But like he was like talking shit about her, and I'm like,
But he was talking about his own fighter. That's what drove me fucking crazy. Like there's times when your competitor needs a coach,
mm-hmm.
and then there's times when they just need a friend.
Yeah.
And you got to know when that is. You got to know when that is. When they come off the mat and you're belittling them, you're a fucking bad coach.
Mm-hmm.
You're a fucking bad coach, right?
The girl that Sierra beat before the semifinals, her coach was a true piece of shit.
Was he really?
Oh yeah, he like not like talking shit, but like he's that coach where like if their athlete doesn't do what they say, he's like, oh what the fuck?
Oh God,
like throwing his hands up and like
that's a complex.
Throwing his water bottle and like that kind of fucking like having tantrums and shit. So like
because it's all about you, pal.
Yeah. So like when I was like coaching Sierra for that match, I was like purposefully trying to yell over him.
Yeah.
So that and being the supportive good coach that you're supposed to be, like to Sierra, as he's being a piece of shit to his own athlete.
Yeah.
And then Sierra won, obviously, and he like storms off, and I was like, "That's right, bitch, run."
That's awful.
Yeah,
That's
like what a
so
shitty
awful.
coach, right? Like you got to be there for your athletes, like regardless of if they're listening, unless they're forcing reaps, then fuck them. But I'm just kidding. I would like you got to. in that point, you have to be a good coach and take them aside and be like, that's not cool.
Yeah, that's not okay. Yeah.
Like it's your job to praise, support, give advice, but also scold if they need it.
Honestly, like the coaches, they get mad when they're not being listened to. At the end of the day, man,
Ego.
you're not the pilot flying the plane, dude.
Right.
That competitor is, they're in the moment, and you just got to let them be in the moment,
I've talked to Paul about that too, and he's like, I know that, I'm going to tell you what I'm seeing, and I'm going to give you my advice, and I realize though sometimes you might be seeing something that I'm not seeing.
Yeah.
As the athlete, like
Yeah,
in the
of course.
moment,
Yeah.
you might be seeing or feeling something where like I can't just put my leg there or something like that because this is going to happen. I can feel him like waiting for it.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
And don't ever yell out just for people that are new to coaching. There's a Darce.
Yeah, because then it's not there anymore. Paul did that to me the one.
Did he really?
With the baseball bat joke.
Oh my gosh, that's funny.
I remember thinking, not anymore.
Yeah. But I mean, there's times when you're like, you see 3 different things, and instead of saying you can do this or you can take the back or you can go back, just say, hey, you got options.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Hey, I don't like that grip. Things like that. That's.
I think it's better to like point out like when there's a really common one is when someone's like trying to like pass and they're like stuffing the far leg and they're trying to like kind of stack the other leg. They're an arm pull away from a triangle, right?
Yeah.
So it's just like, hey, be careful with the triangle.
Yep.
It's like it's always good to like be pointing out the submissions that they could potentially fall into,
Right, yeah.
versus telling him what to try.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, like as a coach, like I like to do 90% of my coaching during training.
Yeah.
And very little during competition.
Sure.
Very little.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, ideally your athlete prepared for this tournament.
they better.
Right.
Yeah. And if you know what they can do and what they can't do, it's very easy to coach them through it.
Yeah. I think coaching at a tournament, really what you're not, first of all, you're not going to teach them a new technique.
No.
I've seen that before where people try to like explain how to do something.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's not how you do it. They're not going to learn. It's like really rare that you could like walk somebody into like a technique
100%,
on the mat like that.
It's
like it
impossible.
happens, but it's like next to impossible.
If it happens, it's more they either didn't see it at first and okay, cool, or they accidentally fell into it.
Right.
It's not like you said, you're not going to teach them anything.
But like what you're really doing is you're kind of like the second eyes on the mat, right? Or second pair of eyes on the mat, because like so. Anybody who's competed knows that there's those times in a match where you're kind of like either like extremely focused or almost to the point where you're almost tunnel visioned in like what you're doing.
Yeah.
To the point where like you're not aware of the time, you're not aware of the points, you're not aware of like any other technique options other than what you're like really focused on. Like sometimes you just get that like I need this triangle or whatever.
Yeah. And there's times like for me, like I need somebody to fucking yell, get your fucking head out of your ass.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? When I'm being like laser focused on one thing, like I have that tunnel vision.
Yeah.
That helps me a lot.
Yeah.
It really does. Like, don't fucking tell me what I'm doing and I'm not doing. Just tell me to get my fucking head out of my ass. And I'm like, okay. That's like a good scolding for me.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah,
So.
and it's weird too because like, well, not weird. It's just like something. It's the reality of coaching is like you got to know. I can do that with you.
Yep.
Maybe I can't do that with Kelsey.
100%.
Right, or
Yeah,
whoever.
you probably could.
Probably could.
But then Kelsey would be like, thank you. I think I will. You know, no, don't fucking look at me.
There isn't a tournament we go to is where Kelsey doesn't look at me and be like, hey, if you coach me like that guy, we're breaking up. Because like there's bad fucking like the asshole we were just talking about. Like if that was actually one of the examples. She's like, if you ever coach me like that, we're breaking up.
Yeah, it's not okay. I mean, for a coach to be mad, like, you didn't do anything I said. Like you said, like you don't know in that moment what the other grip, what the grip that you can't see is always the one that stifles you.
Yeah.
Right. So that's why, like, I'll coach him up as best I can. And then at the end, I was like, hey, what didn't I see? What were they doing with that far hand? And they was like, oh man, he had a grip and he was grabbing my nuts or, something like that. And you're like, oh, okay, I get it.
Yeah. There was I think it was Sierra's first match where she like basically let the sweep happen to put the girl in like basically a really good controlled guard. I don't remember if it was closed guard per se, but it was like a guard where she knew she could just hold on to it because she's already up in points.
Yeah.
And like on paper, that's stupid to give up points.
Yeah, but I mean, if you're running out the clock.
Exactly.
Yeah,
it was like
fine.
10 seconds later, I Paul had already been like, don't fall back, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, but I could see why she did it if she did it with that intention. So I like asked her, I was like, hey, so you fell back. You obviously gave up the sweep points. And she's like, no. I was like feeling like I could have gotten caught if I stayed on top. So I let her sweep me so I can pull her into guard and hold on to her because I knew I had 10 or 15 seconds left or whatever it was. And I was like, okay, as long as you're aware that like you shouldn't do that in a normal scenario, like if there's 5 minutes left, don't do that.
Yeah. I think going back to preparation, I think that because of where like adult worlds is in reference to no-gi worlds, I think it's much easier for the adult divisions to make that transition. Like, okay, worlds is over, right? And you know, obviously that's the biggest tournament.
I mean, it's always easy to transition to no-gi though.
It is because it's so easy. But they can easily make that transition. Like, okay, gi season is over now. No-gi for us, like ours is
like 2 months,
end of August, and then December we got. So I think that's the reason why like I want to do a little bit more no-gi, or you know, go to tournaments where we do both.
Yeah,
you know, I know it sucks, right, having 2 tournaments in a day, but still, I mean, it's we don't have the opportunity to make that transition 6 months before the big one, right? So, got to make an adjustment. And I think like World League has a lot of opportunities to do no-gi. You know, basically the same rule set. I mean, you know,
well, no advantages.
But it's basically the same rule set regarding like reaps and stuff like that.
Yeah, I would say so too. But I mean, point wise, as far as playing the game, like the no advantages is a big difference point wise. If you're talking, especially at the adult level, tactical level.
That and whoever scores last on a tie wins.
Right. That's how they determine that, which is kind of interesting.
It is. I mean, it forces you to you know, pick up the pace if you're 2-2 and you're down and you scored first.
The more you can take out of the ref's hands, the better.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah,
right. Because the ref's decision, like, you lost by ref's decision. It's fucking bullshit. I thought it was bullshit.
Yeah, but it happens.
It happens.
I mean, watching the match, like I can see. You know.
I mean, it wasn't as cut and dry, but it was. I think it was close, but I think you were on top in that close decision.
100%. Yeah,
in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I believe that I was really trying to get him. I was trying to get him to break that lock on the 50-50 open.
Yeah. And
I fucking hate being in 50-50, dude. I fucking hate it. So, you know, there's other things I could have done to escape instead of trying to put pressure.
Yeah.
But I didn't. So,
one of the things that I won't name who I was talking to about this, but they mentioned that like during your match that the guy did more earlier. That may be true, but in my opinion, and like kind of like, and this kind of like plays off the whole like whoever scored last in Jiu-Jitsu World League, I would rather give the decision to the guy who fought the whole match than the guy who fought for the first minute, got up in points, and stalled for the rest of the match.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's basically what happened. I mean, he locked me up in a 50-50.
Right. And that's what I mean. It was like, okay, that might be true. He might have done more on paper, but it was all early and then stalled.
That's a big part of the game, dude. The fucking stalling is a big part of the game, and it's just and I'm not calling him out and saying he did anything bad.
What's his name?
Scott something. No, I'm not Scott. I mean, he, to his credit, he made it to the final. I mean, he beat the number 1 guy in the bracket.
Yeah,
and then he lost to the number 2 guy. So
I mean, he played the game better.
Yeah, for sure.
In reality,
for sure. Well,
yeah. I mean, it's hard to say that you played the game better, and not talking shit about him in particular. Just like, but if you go to decision. Your nobody's game is to let's hope it goes to decision.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Because honestly, if it would have gone my way, I don't know. I mean, who knows? But it didn't, obviously. But if it would have gone my way, I'd been like, yeah, of course I won that. Yeah. So I mean, I'm sure he was thinking, yeah, of course I won that. What are you so mad about? You know?
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. So I was, you know, but yeah, he did a lot. To say he did a lot early is kind of an overstatement.
No, not a lot, just more. I think.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess.
Whoa, bro, put that shit on silent.
Dude, there's very few people that can get in touch with me.
So going back to the forced reaping thing, what would you do with if one of your athletes, if you saw one of your athletes do that? Would you kick them out of the school? Would you burn their house down?
I would not burn their house down.
This guy's answering text messages right now.
No, hang on. There's something weird going on.
Are we not recording?
No, we're recording.
Thank God.
I think.
I want to talk to you again.
I think we're recording. Should be. Let me see.
What did Bill fuck up
Nothing.
other than the lighting?
That's interesting. Huh. Oh no. Stand by.
We're not recording?
Well, we are recording on this one. That's pointed at you.
Mm-hmm.
We are not recording on any of the other ones.
Oh, good.
Fuck.
Well, just turn it on now, and they can look at me for the first 39 minutes.
Yeah, I don't know.
As long as we got the audio.
We do have audio.
Yeah, I don't really give a fuck about the video. I mean,
Yeah.
looks like trash anyways right now, so.
God damn it.
Rookie move.
No, man, I thought I put them in the other day. I guess that's one thing I overlooked.
There's no SD cards.
There's no SD cards. All right, let me pause this.
Don't forget to unpause it. Is it paused now?
Yeah.
So we can start saying slurs.
All right, fuck it. Let's go.
All right.
So, yeah, I didn't have my SD cards in 2 of the fucking cameras. Anyway, where were we?
But the most important camera had me, though.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, how would you coach / talk to / whatever at a tournament?
So, like I said before, I think 90% of my coaches or my coaching would happen away from the tournament. So I would not talk to them about it between matches because I don't want to get in their head. But we would have a long conversation afterwards.
Here's my argument to that. If you don't bring it up, are they going to do it again?
They are going to do it again because I didn't bring it up. However, I don't feel it's my place to make that kind of correction at that moment. I will ask him, or her, I will ask them if post-tournament, my question would be how do you want to be remembered?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Do you want to be remembered as that person? I mean, I don't.
Right.
I mean, and you can't make make decisions for people.
Sure.
They are going to be who they're going to be. And that's the beauty of having, different people around you. Cause I mean, I don't want people who just think like me. Right. Yeah. But I will tell them, man, reputations are earned.
Mm-hmm. This day and age too, everything's recorded.
Yeah.
Except for my first match at New Orleans Open.
What?
I know, the sons of bitches.
The IBJJF or Flow?
It was IBJJF.
Okay.
It was on YouTube, but they didn't.
They didn't have it on.
Save it. The first hour of the tournament wasn't there.
Oh wow, wow! I thought you were gonna throw Kelsey under the bus.
That was fucking Kelsey. Well, you know what's funny? Do you record your matches? Do you put your phone up or whatever?
I don't put my phone up, but Amy usually records them for me.
Oh, so I was putting my phone up and I took a picture instead of pressing video.
I've done that. Actually, no. I remember Paula told me, "Hey, you're gonna get your blue belt after this tournament." I was so excited.
Yeah.
Because I knew I was going to run through that division. So I'm my last match as a white belt in a local tournament. I was so proud of myself. I won the tournament.
How fat were you?
I wasn't fat. I was middleweight at that point. But I was so excited, and Amy was so excited to record. And there's 2 pictures. There's one of me walking onto the mat, and there's one of the ground when she went to stop the video.
Oh
yeah, she was so upset. She's like, "Oh my god, I can't believe I did that." It happens though, man. Whatever. I mean, look, I just didn't have 2 SD cards in my fucking cameras.
Yeah, what a dork.
What an idiot. But I think we can salvage the episode though, because I think that camera was definitely streaming onto my phone, so I think I can send them the video from my phone, and
they'll just be worse or less quality.
No, same quality.
Oh, because it's from that.
Yeah, same quality.
I wasn't sure if it has to compress it to get it sent to your phone or not.
I don't know. Maybe.
Ask Bill.
I'll ask Bill. Yeah.
He'll tell you that stuff.
Yeah,
that technical stuff.
Yeah. So
remember, he's talking about grains and stuff.
He's talking about grain. He opened my eyes to a few things.
And temperature.
But you know what? I don't regret the setup that we had. I love just trial and error kind of shit.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, look how simple this setup is, and I think it looks pretty damn good. It's a little darker than I like.
Yeah.
But
That's what I'm saying. Like, I think if you want to do like the loungier style, I think you need to bring the light up a little bit.
yeah, we'll talk about that.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that. I'm gonna defer
Post in
to
the
the
comments.
expert.
Post
Yeah,
in the
post
comments.
yeah, post in the comments. You guys tell me if you like it or
Is
not.
it too dark? Is it too cave-like, or would you like a
It's a little
more
cavey.
warmer feel?
It's a little cavey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we should put a fireplace right here.
No.
Yep. And then leather couches. And then when we drink whiskey, we'll look sophisticated.
We are not sophisticated, and people know it.
But we'll look sophisticated.
No, we won't.
In my sweatpants.
Yeah, in our sweatpants and Crocs. I can't find my fancy pants. The ones that I bought in Vegas.
You bought fancy pants?
Yeah, man, the sweats that I bought at Target. Remember we went to Target for the 5th time?
Yeah, I was like, which time? You mean when we were bored every single day?
Every single day. Dude, and the worst part was, like, I couldn't even board eat.
Yeah, we couldn't go drink.
I couldn't go drink.
Well,
I
I
was just
could.
like sit there and do nothing. Fuck. Yeah. I hate those trips, dude, because that happened to me. This is like the 3rd time in a row, like 2 Master Worlds and then Nogi
Just
Worlds.
compete at Masters 2. Then you can go on the same day I do.
Yeah, I could do that. Be a
Easy.
quick ass whooping.
That's easy.
Yeah.
Those guys aren't that tough.
That's Nogi, so fucking super easy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not a big deal. There's no advantages to being stronger, faster, younger.
Better looking motherfuckers. Yeah. So
Did you watch any of, speaking of younger and competing in different divisions, did you watch Pat Downey's matches at all?
no. I've been focused on I was watching some of my division.
Mm-hmm.
Been focused on that. Breaking down some of Sierra stuff. But no. I really, man, I don't know. I have a hard time watching jiu-jitsu, man. I don't know. It's like, I don't know them. I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's really difficult for me. But like, I do enjoy watching, like, if I'm studying, like, you know, Tyne and stuff, I'll watch his matches because I kind of compare like what he does in training versus what he does in a match, and it's pretty fucking close, man.
Yeah.
So I enjoy that stuff.
So like what I wanted to point out was like, so I watched a couple of his matches, Pat Downey's matches, and obviously he wrestle fucked them because
Yeah.
that's who he
That's his
fucking
thing,
is.
yeah.
Yeah. But like none of these guys, I feel like they must have been intimidated. It was the adult division, right? So but they must have been intimidated because I felt like I watched the next day Masters 1, same division, right? Blue belts. And I felt like of like the heavyweight division, I felt like they were more aggressive, athletic than any of the guys that fought Pat Downey. And like I said, I think they must have been intimidated by him and were like just afraid to engage because his matches, it seemed like they didn't know what to do with him.
Yeah, there is a lot of that. And I would, like, my counter to that is like his wrestling is so far ahead of those guys that it would be intimidating.
Mm-hmm.
But I think, quite honestly, like, I've seen a lot of wrestlers, really good wrestlers, succeed at blue
Sure.
and then disappear at purple.
Yeah.
So
Well, he's not allowed.
what's that?
Well, he's got kicked out of the IBJJF.
And rightfully so. He should not have done what he did. I hope the other guy got kicked out too.
Oh, I'm sure they both
Yeah,
did.
I hope they did.
Because that's fucking stupid.
It's fucking stupid, man. Like, and he's like, I'm never competing. You're right. You're never competing in IBJJF again.
Yeah, fuck the IBJJF for disqualifying you for fighting.
For
you
fighting.
fucking
Yeah.
dork.
Yeah.
Go fight.
The first fight I ever saw in IBJJF was a brown belt fight. It was the old Vegas Open where it was at that sports arena.
Oh,
I love that spot.
Oh, it's the best.
But yeah, there were 2 brown belts that started swinging at each other, and it turned into like a shoving match, and then they knocked over like the referee's table and shit. Like, yeah, that's those
Have you
guys.
seen that video where this guy's like, I think he's in a triangle, but he like picks up the guy and then throws him on the ref's table.
No, oh God.
And then gets his disqualified, obviously. Like, what was, like, he did it on purpose. Like, he literally picked the guy up and like put him on the ref's table.
I wonder at what point it becomes like assault and you're like, hey, call the police.
I think probably when you don't listen. Well,
that's assault.
If the ref stops, because there's like the heat of the moment, right?
Yeah.
Which I guess I kind of get. But like if the ref and your coach is telling you to back off and you're still like going at a guy, now I think you're getting into like, now we need to get cops.
Yeah. How embarrassing would it be to be in fucking spandex and jail?
Yeah. Like every ADCC tournament.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's getting out of control.
Well, I mean, they need to figure out like how to manage the collar tie / slap thing. Like, honestly, I think they just need to like make a hard line about it.
Yeah, and you know what?
Draw a hard line
It's
on
not. It's not the like the high level wrestlers doing that shit.
No,
It's people who just can't wrestle.
yeah.
You know, and they just start slapping people.
Mm-hmm.
Because I mean, if you get away with it, that's the thing. Like if you watch football, right? When a game gets out of control and the bench is clear, it doesn't happen in the first quarter.
Right.
It happens because the referee lets something slide,
Right.
and then they let 2 things slide, and then 3 things slide. Now the players are like, okay, you're not going to call that, so I'm going to retaliate.
Sure. Yeah.
And then maybe they let that slide, and now the whole team's like, that's a weak referee.
Yeah.
Right. So now we got to police it ourselves. Right. So I think,
but I hate that. Like the whole, the policing it. I mean, you're kind of getting to this point too, I
Yeah.
think, but like the whole, like policing it yourself thing, like if someone hits you like in a match, it does you zero good to hit them back.
right. But that's human nature.
Sure.
Right. Human nature is like, you get me, I'm going to get mine back.
You want to know what a tough guy looks like though? A real tough guy, not the guy who wants to be the tough guy, is the guy who gets hit and is just like, and brushes it off.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
That's a bad motherfucker.
That's a bad motherfucker. Yeah.
Because
yeah.
he's like, okay.
And what I love to see is like the guy that's being stupid get choked out by the bad motherfucker.
Yeah.
That's
or,
the best.
or if they just get disqualified,
Yeah.
it's fine. Like that's how it should be.
Yeah.
Like, look at the ref. Okay.
Okay.
He hits me again. Are you not seeing this? All right. Well, now you have to take it to him, but like, don't
But
start
that's the thing.
throwing fists.
But see, that's the thing. You just said it. Like if the ref doesn't police that shit early, then it becomes a problem.
Mm-hmm.
But if you hear that first smack and you're like, hey, one more time and I'm gonna DQ you. You do that shit again, I'm gonna DQ you. And I don't care who you are.
Yeah.
And what are you gonna say? No.
But
The answer is yes, sir.
I would
right?
say for like even at ADCC, which is like notorious for just letting people do whatever the fuck they want.
Yeah.
The refs are. I always forget what the difference is there. The refs
Judges.
and the judges.
Yeah.
Who's who? Whatever. It doesn't matter. The guy on the mat usually stops like the bullshit.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Usually they stop
That's his
him
job.
and talks to him and be like, "Hey, you keep that shit done." But like they're so like, "Oh, we don't want to DQ anybody." Like that's like their mentality, like the ADCC mentality, which is so fucking like that's like completely like, you know, everyone talks about how the IBJJF has too many rules. If you don't have rules, you don't have a tournament.
Right. And you gotta draw a line. Where do you draw that line?
Yeah.
At the first fucking slap.
Yeah.
That's where you draw the line.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's
You got to correct. It's just like if you're like, you know, raising a dog or a kid or whatever, it's like if you let them get away with it, they're going to keep pushing the boundaries.
Yeah. 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 And like you said, the bad motherfucker doesn't have to slap you.
Yeah.
Right? He's not weak that way. He
Yeah.
doesn't have to slap you. Like
But
he's
see
gonna
these,
go.
like,
He's gonna
fucking,
run
like,
through you.
Quote unquote alphas, right? Like they're like they get hit and then they're like and then they like punch the guy or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's like
You're not an alpha.
You're a
yeah,
bitch. Then.
You're not an alpha.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't let him get away with that.
You just threw a punch in the safest environment ever. You know what I mean? It's gonna get broken up pretty fucking quick.
Yeah, no one's really gonna get hurt here.
You just got one in. Right?
It's not like at the bar where you're gonna get stomped if you lose.
Yeah. Now, if the guy's walking to his car, is like, hey man, we got to work this shit out.
Yeah.
Like right now. Like there's an alley back there. We can do it here in front of your family.
Yeah.
Or we can go back there.
But those are the same guys who are like, oh, girls are so emotional.
Yeah, right.
What do you think that is?
That's just weakness, man.
Yeah,
That's
you're
just
weak.
weaks.
You're that's emotionally weak.
Yeah.
You're an emotionally weak person if you can't control your emotions like that.
I
Someone
like-
hits you, you can get mad, but like control yourself because you're a fucking grown up.
Yeah. Oh, I like what Paul did. He got smacked in the head and then he threw the guy. Guess what? The guy didn't smack him again.
Yeah. But it was the guy got yelled at also.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is good.
That's really good. Yeah.
That's what the refs are supposed to do.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and I don't know, man. They just got to step up. They just got to step up, police that shit early. Yeah.
Oh, it's so annoying. It's cringe to me to watch people like slap, like not even like hitting, like it's just bad technique.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's all there is to it. It's like people who like blast crank like heel hooks and stuff. And there's that fat kid who was like, he was like a 16-year-old or something like that. Who kept like fucking blowing up people's knees because he would grab the heel hook and just
rip. Yeah.
And he was just hurting everybody. Right.
Yeah.
But then he fought someone good. He fought Mason Fowler and he fucked him up.
Yeah.
Mason fucked him up. So it's like good technique wins.
It does, but like I think some people, how should I put this? They're in divisions they don't belong in.
Sure.
You know, you got to know that you're ready or not, or you got to have a coach that's telling you like, hey, I know you want to do this particular tournament with this rule set. You're not ready for this smoke.
You absolutely have to like prepare for rule sets.
Of course.
Especially when you're talking about heel hooks.
Yeah.
And well, anything leg
hooks,
leg related, because it has nothing to do with like a knee bar being more dangerous per se than an arm bar. It's just, if you have to get surgery, it's way more fucking complicated and expensive.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
and it's kind of like weird to like think of it like that way, I think. But like most people who have their elbows popped don't have to get surgery.
Yeah.
If you pop your knee, you are getting surgery.
Yeah.
Or you have a missing ligament.
Yeah. And, you know, one of the questions that I ask people when they talk to me about doing their first tournament, I'm like, dude, that's awesome. I'm excited for you. I think you'll do well.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have insurance?
Yeah. Oh, shit.
No, it's legit, because the very first person to ever represent our academy in a tournament, I didn't ask that question. Got his knee blown out. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not cheap. You
No.
and I both have had knee surgeries.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah, dude.
not cheap.
They're not cheap.
With insurance, they're not cheap.
Even with insurance. And you know, and then the physical therapy after. That's not cheap. You know what I mean?
Do not skip the physical therapy.
No, you got to do the PT.
If you want to
all
be
of it. You got to do all of it.
If you don't want to be the guy who has to be out for a year, do the physical therapy.
Do the physical therapy. That's, you know, it's easy for us to say that, because like here's where I'm going with this. If you were to skip physical therapy, I would give you so much shit. You know what I mean? And if I were to skip it, I know you'd give me a lot of shit. I just don't want to hear your fucking mouth. I mean, I got to listen to your mouth for a good hour. We've been going for a good hour.
I actually
anything outside of this, dude. Anything outside.
I actually want you to skip the physical therapy so you don't roll with me anymore. I'm like, oh, it's the worst. Oh, Alex wants to roll. Fuck.
Yeah, fuck.
This is going to be a waste of my time.
I know he's going to fart.
He's just going to hold on to me because he can't do anything.
That's a strategy. That's a strategy.
I rolled with Paul today, and we had a good roll. But I was like continuing to try to pass to the left, and then I switched it real quick on him and passed to the right and passed his guard, and he was so upset with himself. He's like, God damn it, I'm too slow. And I'm like, well, I mean, I'm half your age.
Pretty close.
You know?
Yeah, pretty close.
But it's just, you know, that's the reality of it, right?
Yeah.
There's different games for different age groups. It's for real, you know?
Yeah.
Like you go watch the adults at any weight division and then go watch Masters 4 or 5 or 6. It's a completely different game. Very different. Playing.
Yeah. Very different.
What's your opinion on at least let's use in the context of no-gi? I honestly,
you mean how easy no-gi is?
Yeah, how easy no-gi is.
Fucking easy. Super easy. Ridiculous.
I'm the more and more I even like watch no-gi, like regular tournaments. I'm not talking about like the pro,
the
like
big uns.
Yeah, the game, like the ADCC championship and all that kind of shit. I still think that there's no reason to have the reap be illegal in no-gi in particular. I don't think it should be illegal in any tournament, because I don't think it's as dangerous as people make it out to be. There's just in gi, there's no real benefit to reaping. Yeah, because you can't heel hook. But there is positional. I guess there's positional benefits as far as even if you're like ankle locking.
Oh, absolutely. Or in a guard retention situation, you know, reaping. Well, fuck, you turn the guy the opposite direction. He's not going to pass your guard. Yeah. But my opinion is, I think jiu-jitsu has been nerfed for so long. You know, we've protected people from knee bars and reaping for so long that now they're so afraid to even be put in that position, because hey, a reap equals a blown out knee. No, it doesn't. No, it does not. You know, and I think that's the biggest issue. Like you talk to guys like Eddie Bravo. Eddie Bravo says like the majority of he talks about his injuries, but like student injuries are wrestling related. He goes, we do heel hooks from day one. Yeah, you know, but when you do them early enough, they're not a big deal. Yeah, they're just not.
Because you know how to deal with it.
Yeah, and then you know when you're got, right? You know what I think a lot of the issue is people don't know what part of the body they actually attack. Yeah. Right? Does a heel hook attack the ankle? Sort of, but it'll blow your knee out too. Right? And then you'll know a really good heel hook because you don't feel it until your knee blows out. Right. So you got to know when you're got. And a lot of people, you know, this has been on my mind for a while, man. Not the reaping or the any of that, but like how should I put this, man? I know this is going to piss some people off, but there's just some entitlement that I see on the mats, and it's not from white belts.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's 100%.
You know what I mean? Like the how
about.
dare you attitude. Listen, man, I'm trying really hard not to say motherfucker, but
You just did.
I know, but I'm seeing it more and more to where like people are like, oh, I don't roll with, you know, those guys. I don't, you know what I mean? I don't do this. I don't do that. You know, like, oh my God, that's a reap. You know, that type of shit. Like
Sure.
when I roll with somebody, like especially now that I'm doing more no-gi, I'm like, dude, fucking go ham. I'll tap.
Yeah.
Right? Because I want to experience the full experience. Now, if I'm rolling with somebody and they want to reap or do whatever, cool. I don't typically do that because I want to stay within the rule set that I'm training for.
Sure.
And I don't want to develop a bad habit.
Yeah.
But honestly, like, I don't feel the need to tell anybody like, oh, don't do this and don't do that and don't be bigger.
Yeah.
You know, like,
is there anything someone does to you in like a live round, not outside of tournament? This is training.
Okay.
Whether it's open mat, your own classes, whatever. Is there anything when you're rolling with somebody that they do that actually upsets you? Other than like blatantly like trying to hit you or something like that. The context is
that's a good question, man.
because I've seen people who get upset with people like obviously like in the gi there's a lot of grips. It's easy to tie somebody up.
Yeah.
They'll get upset when someone plays like some sort of lapel guard where they're tied up and tangled up and they can't do anything for the whole match.
I feel like I'm such a curious person that when somebody ties me up or, you know, not aside from doing something dirty, right?
Right.
No, not that anybody does dirty stuff, but if they tie me up,
Vin Vallejo does.
that's why I love rolling with them. But like when somebody does something that's got me wrapped up and I'm just getting frustrated, I start to think of like, I start to kind of reverse engineer it. Like, how did we get here?
Yeah.
You know? But no, I really, I don't know, man, because I guess because I'm so curious, I don't get frustrated. I get more curious.
Like, I guess it's more of an etiquette question that I'm asking you, not necessarily like that was. I guess what I gave you was not really an etiquette thing, but like,
Yeah.
Well, I guess if you're in a training scenario, I think stalling is a waste of time for both athletes.
Yes.
So like, if I'm good at tying people up, that's cool for a tournament, right? Because like I said, like if you're just there to win and play the game, right? And we've talked about this before. No one remembers how you won. Like 10 years later, they're like, you were a world champion.
Yeah.
You could have got 2 points.
Yeah.
And then stalled the guy for the rest of the time and won all your matches like that. No one's going to remember that.
Correct. Yeah. Man, it's really hard. Here's the thing. I tell people this all the time, and this is for anybody that wants to like, you know, win a round against me.
Yeah.
The matches that I've lost, maybe except for one, were not like spectacular fashion arm bars, flying triangle, you know, ankle lock or anything like that. I've rarely, I think I've been submitted in competition 2 times. The matches that I've lost have been very close most of the time.
Yeah.
I don't think I've been beat by more than 2 points.
What's his name? Asian guy. He fucked you up.
Which one?
American Nationals. I don't think he submitted you. Oh, wait. I think he did submit you.
No, it went to the distance. He didn't submit me.
Oh, but he was smashing you.
He was smashing me
He's
pretty
a
good.
big motherfucker.
But he was, it was a lot of advantages that he got. So, I mean, yeah, if you go advantages, he had like 6.
He's a big motherfucker.
He was working me. But dude, that's like at my age group, he's like top of the food chain. Like he's really good. I don't think he submitted me though.
I don't think so.
I don't know if he did, that's 3 times, but I don't care.
Yeah.
The tournaments that I've lost have been like, I'm down by a couple and then they tie me up.
Yeah.
So when somebody like stalls in a training match, I think of it as like training for me.
You need to train that.
Yeah.
You need to train how to deal with that.
Yeah. So, and I'll give you an example. Match that I lost, it was 3-0. It was the 2 Master Worlds ago. Dude tried to wrap me up in his guard and hold me. And because like I'd been there before, I knew exactly what he was doing, run out of time, and I willed my way out of that guard and stood up. And I'm sure he was fucking surprised that it happened, but
yeah, I'm sure like in training he's able to do that to all of his partners.
Yeah. So I mean, So I've been trained. I've been weight training for that. You know what I mean? I've been physically, mentally, training for that
Sure, yeah.
for that exact moment. So I kind of like, again, my curiosity is what keeps me like okay with it.
Sure.
But I can see where like if somebody starts stalling in a training round, like, okay, what are we doing here? Like, you know what I mean?
You're wasting time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Can you give me an example of something that bothered you to the point where you're like a little upset?
Well, kind of my point was that, like, honestly, like there isn't, and other than like something that's really blatant, like even like a spazzy purple belt or whatever, even if they're being spazzy, like, and they're higher, and I think they're high enough level where they shouldn't be spazzy.
Yeah.
That doesn't even bother me. Like,
I don't
really
bother
care.
me.
Like I'm pretty okay with getting clipped in the face. Like,
Yeah.
I have a fucking cut on my eye right now. Like,
Yeah.
I'm pretty okay with that. Like, it doesn't, like, I know people who will like get clipped with an elbow or a knee or whatever, and then they're like, all right, I have to fuck this guy up now.
Yeah.
Or whatever. Or like, like Vin likes to play a little bit of grindy and kind of like,
I love it.
plays dirty. I don't care.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
yeah,
awesome.
it sucks, but like,
Let's go. Let's go.
Okay, I'm in a shitty position. I need to deal with it.
I'm gonna do it to you.
Yeah,
That's all I'm thinking.
which is kind of it's fun because it's like, ooh, the door is open.
Yeah.
But there's like
Yeah.
not like a particular, like, or like you'll be rolling a gi round and someone will try to like heel hook you.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
Okay.
That's fine. I'll tap.
I'll tap. I know how to deal with heel hooks. Like,
yeah.
Okay, I can deal with that. It doesn't bother me. Stalling is frustrating, but like, I know people who will like get in a position where they're tied up and like the guy's stalling on them, obviously, and they'll get mad at that guy. I'm like, you should be mad at yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's the only person I ever really get mad at if I'm getting stuck in a stalled position like that. I was just like, God damn it, I can't address this. I need to figure out how to address this.
Yeah.
I don't ever get mad at the person for stalling me like that.
Yeah.
I think the worst is when someone purposefully is taking it easy on you to the point where
that's the worst. Yeah.
It's just like, just fuck me up.
I would rather be put to sleep.
Yeah, just fuck me up. I'll tap 100 times. Like, I don't care.
There's a particular black belt that will remain nameless that moved here fairly recently within the past couple of years.
Bill.
Nah. But he rolls hard.
Yeah.
Every round he rolls hard. And he brought that attitude to Paul's Academy, and I love training with him.
Yeah.
And people are like, oh, he's hurting people.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, okay, fuck it. I'll roll with him. He's never hurt me.
Mm-hmm.
I've tapped a little bit later than I should have.
Mm-hmm.
And when I did, automatically I felt him deflate. I felt him be like, oh, no, not again. That moment.
Yeah.
And I looked at him and I said, the day you take it easy on me is the last fucking time we roll.
Yeah.
Just so you know, I will never roll with you again.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that helped or not, but I wanted him to know that, dude, I'm okay with this.
Yeah.
Like, I signed up for this. This is what I'm here for.
Yeah. The problem is like not everyone is.
No, exactly. But
which is kind of like they should be.
And it comes down to, this is just my opinion. I'm not an expert. I'm an idiot. But
True. I agree.
Sometimes I believe that's that how dare you attitude.
Sure.
That's that entitlement attitude. Like,
Yeah.
do you think you're entitled to be in a combat sport and never get injured? Really? Really? That's your that's your thought process. I don't.
That's like playing like full contact football and then be like, you're supposed to tag me.
You're right. How dare you hit me in the helmet that I got issued because someone might hit you in the helmet.
Yeah. You know what I mean? It's like, it's a combat sport.
It's a combat sport, and shit happens, man. I've never been, I've been injured by people, and 99.9% of the time it's my fault.
Yeah. But I mean, and the thing that kind of sucks, I guess, for athletes in jiu-jitsu, is the reality is like, especially if you're going to be competitive, is you kind of have to ride the razor's edge.
Yes.
Right. Because like you have to know when you can tap, when you have to tap, and when you can probably hang out and figure a way out of an armbar or whatever it is. But if you play that game in class,
a dangerous game.
You're going to get cut sometimes.
So like, I can name 3 or 4 people that as soon as my grip breaks and my arm gets extended, I'm tapping and I'm yelling it.
Yeah.
You're one of them. Ramsey's another one. And there's a few others because like I enjoy rolling with people that love to roll hard.
Yeah.
and ride that razor's edge, like you said. And even to the point where like, and I love that that's a great analogy you use, because like even guard passing,
Mm-hmm.
if you're a tough guard passer, you might get, a cut over your eye, or you know what I mean? You might hurt your wrist. You might, hurt your neck because you're so aggressive in it. But at the same time, if you're not riding that razor's edge, like you said, how are you going to improve? How are you going to know if your shit works or not?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's what I love about rolling with Ramsey. I mean, he, literally, like, I know that as soon as he turns up the heat, I'm going to feel it.
Yeah.
I'm going to feel it, because like when we're rolling, we're playing, I can feel him play.
Yeah.
When I start stepping it up, or I sweep him,
Yeah.
in the rare occasion, I know it's coming.
Yeah.
Like he's going to get his back. But at the end of the day, when I'm competing with someone my age, my level, that guy's moving in slow motion compared to Ramsey,
Right.
compared to you,
Right.
Compared to the other guys. So that's why I love training hard with younger, faster, better looking assholes.
Right. And so many people are afraid to roll with people who are we'll just say better than them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because they don't want to get beat. You never lose in training.
No. You know what?
I think that like you win or you lose thing is really mainly applied to training, because you did fucking lose at a tournament. It's the reality of it.
It's the reality of it. Yeah.
Yeah, you did lose. But in a match or in class, there's no score, there's no ref.
Just play.
You're just learning.
Yeah. Yeah. And playing conservative has hurt me.
Sure. Yeah.
So, I mean, got to be a little bit more aggressive, but you can't, I don't think that's something you can just turn on unless you train that way.
Right.
And I'm not saying you have to be aggressive all the time.
Yeah.
But like,
you have to have that in you, and the only way you can have that in you is when you actually, flex that muscle.
Yeah. And you've got to train with the right training partner. Because like you said, just like coaching, there's things that I can do to you and Vin that I can't do to somebody else.
Right.
Right. And like, if I outweigh somebody, if I'm training with a female and I outweigh her by 30 pounds, I'm certainly not going to drop
30, 50,
at least, depending on how many cheeseburgers I had that week. No, but seriously, I'm not gonna drop the full pressure I would on you.
Mm-hmm.
I outweigh you by 50 pounds, but I'm gonna fuck you up if I can.
Right.
Right. So,
well, I mean, also to some extent, though, I think that kind of does a disservice for the smaller person, and depending on like the weight discrepancy. Like,
yeah.
I feel like you put a lot of like when you do your like neon belly pass thing that you do.
Yeah.
I feel like I have to engage my fucking core. I'm gonna get crushed.
Oh yeah.
I'm sitting there like, oh, here we go. Come on.
It's thank you, John Cabay. He gave me that one.
It's a good one.
It's a good one.
It's
he gave me that
fucking nightmare to deal with.
Yeah. And dude, it especially people that have never been in it.
Yeah.
Dude, I just step right out of the guard.
Yeah.
It's wild. But
I mean, I think it has to be the right person. They have to be like, because like there's small people who are just kind of like there to like get a little better at jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
They're like hobbyists, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we're all hobbyists, but
we're all hobbyists, but like
there's levels to
this
that.
This is gonna sound so pompous, but there's people who are just not martial artists, right? They don't want to. They don't want to stretch.
Yeah.
Like I love rolling with a giant person. I do because I want to feel that pressure. Because
your homie.
Oh, he's the man.
That kid, and he's good at at dialing it when he needs to.
Yeah. So is what's his name? Just got promoted.
From what school?
You're from Paul's. Oh my God, big dude. And when he got promoted, and everybody's saying like how good he is with smaller people. He's a big dude. God, what's his name? Oh my God, I'm so sorry, brother. I love you.
What belt?
I think he got promoted to purple. Big guy. And then all the women in the class were like, he's a woman-friendly role. He's a very women-friendly role.
I remember people saying that. I mean, Gino's one of those guys.
Not Gino.
He's a big guy who knows how to like roll with smaller people.
Yeah.
It's not one of the morning people.
Oh my God, what's his name?
Daniel?
No.
Big Daniel? No.
It might be.
Has the mustache, kind of quiet?
Yes.
Yeah, Daniel.
Really nice guy.
Yeah, Daniel.
Yeah. Sorry, Daniel.
He looks intimidating.
He is intimidating.
He's a big man.
He's a big man. Yeah, but sweetheart of a guy, knows how to control himself. I think that's what it is. The control.
Yeah.
Right? You got to have some control. Like if I were to be rolling with say like Tiffany, right? And Tiffany gets me in a triangle. And if I go to stack her,
I'm picking her up and I'm throwing her on the bench.
But if I go to like stack, to break, I'm not going to stack like abruptly and crush her, right?
Right.
I do it mainly to see what she's going to do. Like, where is she going to transition to, right? What other, because she's not going to be able to hold that triangle forever. Right. Does she go for my arm? You know, that type of shit. Mm-hmm. But like, and that's a really hard thing to teach people. Like, the way I got, oh gosh, I'm trying to think of the right words, because someone was asking me the other day, like, where they were talking about rolling. Not asking me, but Maliki, the guy Maliki, he made a really good post about rolling with white belts and why you should. Mm-hmm. And
rest rounds.
Well, no, yeah, but he was saying it's the closest thing you'll ever get to a street fight.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I remember.
Right?
I remember seeing that. Yeah.
Love it. I loved his post. And then I was
because
thinking,
it's someone with no skill.
Yeah.
They're just going to spaz and use all their strength because that's all they got.
And you're not going to do a spider lasso because they're going to be, yanking, right?
Right.
But yeah, you get into these very fundamental moves, and it's like the pure spirit of jiu-jitsu, right? The bigger person losing to the smaller one. But like, I started thinking about it, like, why don't people like training with white belts? And I think the control is a big issue. And like, we've all been injured before, and we don't want to get injured again. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, like, then when we say that, hey, we're here to get you as good as possible so you can help us get better, then we're fucking lying.
Yeah.
Right? We're just lying. And then the entitlement. This is just my opinion about the entitlement, right? I'm just saying.
No,
but there's some
motherfuckers.
Yeah, but there's some people that are so entitled that like, oh, I don't want to roll with white belts. Okay, cool. Well, I get
if you're a smaller person, or maybe you're just like prone to injury.
Yeah, if you're nursing an injury, do not roll with a bigger person,
especially if they're white belts.
Yeah, especially if they're white, but do not do it.
Yeah.
But
I mean, there are exceptions, obviously. Like what you're saying, like Dakota, like he's a good example of
great example.
He is. Yeah. If you look at him, you're like, oh, I don't want to roll with him. He's too big.
Yeah.
He's not going to hurt you.
He's a great roll.
He's not going to hurt
roll.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Daniel, for example, great roll. Keola will crush you.
Yeah.
But he's got to know that you're okay with like going hard. He's not going to go hard on everybody.
There's some small black belts that will hurt you, and then there's some big white belts who won't. It's just like it depends on the person.
Yeah. And I think like when I roll with people, like, I don't know, man. I can't think of one person where I've said, oh, be careful this, be careful that. I've always just tell them, like, do your thing and I'll tap. Yeah. Like, and I mean it. Like, do your thing.
Yeah. I don't ever want anybody to adjust what they're doing for me.
Right. But if I have a blown out knee and I'm trying to nurse that knee,
that's different.
I will tell them.
That's
like,
different.
Yeah.
Like when it's game mode, like when we're all 100% or
good to go,
close as to 100% as we get.
Let's not get crazy here.
100%. I've never met the guy,
and I feel like I'm talking out of my ass, but like there's just so many what ifs, right? I mean, there's just so many variables to the equation. You can't say everyone should roll with white belts. That's not true. That's not true. Yeah. But honestly, like, man,
you need to roll with all types of people.
Yeah.
You need to.
Yeah.
Like, you do need to roll with someone who can hurt you.
Yeah.
Because otherwise you're always going to be afraid of the people who can hurt you.
Yeah. And it's like, I liken that to when people get a new belt. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, and they've been competing all throughout jiu-jitsu, like white belt, blue belt. Now they're purple. And they're like, oh, I'm going to wait for, next year. And then they never compete again.
Yeah.
Because they get scared.
Sure. Yeah.
Right. And hey, I'm not looking down on anybody who doesn't compete. I just feel like once you're in the fire, dude, you got to stay in that fire, man.
It's so fun.
You got to stay in that fire.
It sucks. It's like, it is like a stressful, miserable experience, but it is also very fun and awesome at the same time. It's a conundrum. I think that's what makes it so good.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But like, I think people need to roll with dangerous people for different reasons depending on the person. The ego guy needs to roll with dangerous people because they need to know that like because you see those guys who are like, they avoid all of the hard rounds, right?
Yep.
I won't name any names, Alex.
Why are you looking at me?
But you know what I mean? Like there's that ego guy who like can't accept being beat. So he'll like roll with all of like the unexperienced and the smaller people because he beats those guys up.
Yep.
Then
maybe he'll do one tough round.
And then he hates it because he gets beat up and then goes back to his ways. It's like, those are the people who need to do that too.
Yeah.
And on the other side of the spectrum, the people who are smaller, less experienced, need to roll with dangerous people to learn that like dangerous people can, and when I say dangerous, I mean like capable.
Skilled.
Yeah. I don't mean dangerous as like the spazzy, gigantic white belt. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they need to roll with those. Because like how many times have you had like a white belt like be intimidated to roll with you because you're a black belt? Because they just think they're like, oh, you're just going to beat me up because you're a black belt.
Yeah. I mean, I guess sometimes,
Yeah.
you know,
well, I mean, probably not at your school, and you don't come to open mats because you're lame.
I go to open mats.
Bro, where were you this weekend?
What are you talking
You
about?
said you're like,
I was sick, idiot.
okay.
Yeah, I'm not going to, you want me to go in there and get everybody sick?
We're
Look,
all sick.
Listen to my sexy voice. All right. I still have my sexy
Okay,
voice.
Phoebe.
No, I totally understand where you're coming from. This subject is so hard for me though. It's so hard for me.
Mm-hmm.
I will tell you this.
As like a gym owner, coach.
Yeah. Well, no, as just a, person who I just love training with different people, man. I'm not saying the bigger the better, but it's kind of cool. Like when you're able to take a big dude's back, that's kind of neat. But
I guess we're kind of like going back and forth talking about different types of dangerous versus a big guy's dangerous because of just gross tonnage. Like they're able to, if they just fall on you, they could hurt you.
Yeah.
Right. Like if Tiffany falls on you, she probably isn't going to hurt you.
Wait a minute.
Yeah. She's really light. I don't know if you knew this.
Is she like falling off the building and landing on me?
Like 4 stories. Yep. Terminal velocity, Tiffany. Yeah.
Yeah. No, but so I like to tell the story, and I don't know that I've ever shared it on the podcast, but when I was a white belt, I trained a ton, and I did notice that a lot of people did not want to train with me.
Mm-hmm.
And it was because I was just spazzy and aggressive.
It's because you smelled.
I didn't really smell though.
Okay. If you say so.
Maybe.
The smelly person never knows who the smelly person is.
That's true. If you don't know who the smelly person is,
It's you.
It's you. No, but and then someone brought it up. Like, yeah, people don't like rolling with white belts because you're typically spazzy and no one wants to get hurt, because they got tournaments coming up.
And if you're a spazzy and you're big, that's dangerous.
Yeah, and I was 240 pounds. I was a big boy. Mm-hmm. And so so then I made a conscious decision not to be spazzy. So I would start my rounds sitting on my ass.
Yeah.
Right? Because I'm not going to hurt anybody. I'm not going to fall on anybody if I'm on my butt.
Right.
And I was getting smoked, obviously, sit up guard versus someone standing at a white belt, you're going to get smoked.
Yeah.
And I did for a long time. And now it's kind of like my preference because I've been doing it so long. Mm-hmm. But I did that specifically because I wanted people to want to train with me.
Right.
And I remember, I'll never forget this. It was an open mat, still a white belt.
Yep.
And Matt Mamelin called me over from across.
Who?
Yeah, pickleball Matt. He called me over from across the mat and asked me if I wanted to roll. I'm like, I did it.
Mm-hmm.
I did it. I'm not that spazzy white belt that no one wants to roll with. You know what I mean? I was developing skill. I was getting my fucking butt handed to me.
Yeah.
But I was developing that skill that people were like, okay, he's okay. And that's why like there's people like that, my friends that come visit the academy, and I'll be like, hey, roll with this guy. And then they'll look at me and like, oh, he's a good roll.
Yeah.
And then automatically that wall comes down.
Sure.
Right? Because when you say they're a good
kind
roll,
of vouch for him,
you kind of trust them.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, there is that like unknown, like especially at open mats when you're just like, I don't want to roll with the big guy that I don't know because I don't know if he's a good big guy or if he's a fucking just like a gorilla.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's there's so many variables, and for me to say do this and don't do that, it's stupid for me to say. But I will tell you this, man. As a white belt, like if you want to get people to roll with you, be a little bit more passive and just learn.
Yeah.
Don't
be the spaz.
Try. It's hard, man. It's hard because
I mean, it's all you really got.
That's all you got. Yeah.
It's like you just try to like be. Well, what it really is you're trying to be athletic.
Yeah.
but you don't know what you're doing or where you're going. Yeah. So you're kind of just turns into like throwing limbs around. Right?
Yeah. And early on, like my injuries that I got were rolling with other white belts. We were both two spazzy white belts and throwing each other around.
Yeah. I never really got like injured, I would say, like as a white or even blue belt, other than like, like commons, like if you get like a black eye or something.
Yeah.
Like that.
Mine was
I don't count that as an injury.
Yeah. Mine was like getting thrown and
used to
landing
break
on
our
my
toes
shoulder
a lot on those stupid mats.
Fucking puzzle mats. Yeah. We were talking about that the other day. That Jeremiah was at one of our open mats.
Yeah, I was there.
And okay, so we were talking about the puzzle mats, and everybody almost in unison was like broken toes.
Yep. Dude, I like smashed my toe on Ramsey's knee the other day. Yeah, he like pulled guard as I kind of like stepped forward.
Yeah.
I did this a couple weeks ago. I did the same exact thing, but it like, because we were playing that stupid like first to pole game or whatever.
Yeah.
And I like peeled up the nail on my big toe.
I hate that shit.
Oh, it hurts so bad. I was bleeding all over the place.
Bad. Yeah.
But this time I had my toes curled for whatever reason, and it just like not jammed, but just like hit my knuckle. It's like swollen right now.
Yeah. We were doing
Remind me of the good old days.
We were doing a drill. Yeah, gosh, when was it, man? It was a long time ago. We were doing a drill where it was single leg, takedown, or maybe it was like wizard. I don't know. But anyway, so we're doing this drill, and it was like trying to, take each other down. One person had a single, the other one had a whiz or whatever.
Yeah.
So I turn my back, and then I hear this crash on the mat. And I turn around, and it's Scott Bricolette.
Mm-hmm.
And he's on the ground, and he's holding his foot. I'm like, what the fuck just happened? Like,
yeah.
And his toe had gone in like a turtle. His big toe had like dislocated and gone into his foot, and it looked like a turtle going back into his shell. And I saw it like, bleh. I was fucking. So we had one of the guys in there.
Like you after you get out of the water. Out
yeah.
Of the
out of the cold plunge. Yeah. Bigger. His toe is bigger than that. Trust me. So luckily we had somebody who was a firefighter, EMT in there, and I'm like, and he was gray, dude. He was like
no blood in his head.
No, he was in a lot of pain, and so, gosh, I can't remember who it was, but he was an EMT. He grabs a toe and he's like, "All right, I'm gonna set it on
1, 2."
Yeah, he goes 1 pop. Scott was almost good to go, like almost automatically.
Yeah,
like he just taped it up. He kept training, like the color came back, and all that, but. That was gross. That was fucking gross.
I don't know what I'm doing, but I'll try. If someone wants me to try to relocate a finger, I don't know what I'm doing, but I'll try.
Yeah. Yeah.
It doesn't gross
so
me
disgusting.
out at all. I think it's
so
awesome.
disgusting. Yeah. Like Sean Academia's shoulder going out.
Yeah. Yeah. That takes some skill. People who are like trying to like smash people's shoulders after they dislocate it. No. Go to the hospital.
Go to the hospital. Yeah.
That's different. Fingers, it's like you just kind of have to pull it, and they relocate.
They just relocate. Yeah. So gross.
Yeah. Shoulder, you have to like realign a bunch of shit.
Yeah. I don't know that we did anything productive during this podcast, but we've been going for an hour and a half.
So?
No, I can keep going.
No, that's okay. Let's call it.
All right, everybody. Thank you for listening to the podcast. If you like or if you hate the podcast, please like and subscribe. Please follow us on YouTube, Instagram, and all the other socials. And we're on every platform where you can find a podcast. Buy Salt Electrolytes. Go earn your salt. Thank you very much for your sponsorship. And who else? Who am I missing? Oh, Control Physical Therapy. Go see my buddy Greg McClarty in Tempe. And Unfair Advantage. Go see my buddy Wadis Cooper and his staff. Best place you can get your treatment and best place you can get your training.
Oh, and like I always say, every blue belt can beat up everybody.
You know what? We're gonna sign off with that.
Hell yeah!
Every single time, every blue belt can beat up everybody. All right, thanks everybody. This episode is brought to you by BioPro Plus. BioPro Plus is the faster, easier, and safer non-synthetic alternative to painful, expensive, and invasive anti-aging hormone treatments. The growth factors in BioPro Plus have the unique ability to regulate and restart the body's natural sex hormone production, and it also assists in raising glutathione levels, improving immune response, repairing DNA, promoting enhanced protein absorption, and supporting self-differentiation and proliferation. I don't know what any of that means, but I can tell you this. I've been using this stuff for about a year, and my ability to recover is through the roof. I'm training jiu-jitsu 3 times a week. I'm lifting weights 2 times a week, and the amount of time it takes for me to recover has reduced significantly. I'm 51 years old, and as an aging grappler, I got to do everything I can to stay on the mats. So I go through a pretty regimented recovery system. And BioPro, I also use the evening version. I forget what it's called, but it's fantastic. Get this stuff. Go to www.bioproteintech.com and put the promo code Foxcast. Promo code Foxcast will get you $30 off your order. Hit them up. You won't regret it.